What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Eddie Hearn goes off on Anthony Joshua, says that Anthony Joshua needs to absolutely snap out of it. He needs to get a hold of himself. He says he has to knock it off with the disillusion. He says because if he don't wake up and snap out of it ASAP, he will lose the rematch and lose everything he has to Andrew Ruiz Jr., if he doesn't snap out of it and snap out of it fast. He says that, he understands that he got down on himself and he started blaming himself, for his shortcomings. He says, but, at this point in time, he has to truly snap out of it. He has to wake up. He says he has everything on the line and he cannot afford, to come up short again, because if he does, he will lose everything, right? He says, I think he was a little delusioned with the sport because he wanted to fight Deontay Wilder. He couldn't get that fight, and as he said in the interview, he didn't really want to fight Andrew Ruiz. But tough, you fought him, and you fought him a real hungry guy. You lost. I think the great thing about this promotion is that now, for the first time next week, he looks at a man in his eyes who is the only man to beat him as a professional. So basically what Eddie Hearn is saying that, you can't continue to blame yourself, for not being focused on Andrew Ruiz. He says at the end of the day, you chose to fight Andrew Ruiz. You didn't want to fight him. You would have much rather fight Deontay Wilder, undefeated WBC American heavyweight champion, or countryman, British undefeated lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. But you wasn't able to get them. You went with Andrew Ruiz. Andrew Ruiz was hungry. You weren't focused, and you lost. This is what Eddie Hearn is saying, right? He said tough. He said it was a tough fight. He said basically tough cookies. You got to chalk it up as a loss. Now you're going to look at the only man that ever defeat you as a professional in his eyes at this press conference next week, and you got to deal with it. You got to snap out of it. If you continue to live in the clouds, right, you're going to lose everything you have, right? He says, I think the great thing about this promotion is, right, for the first time next week, meaning the press conference next week, he looks a man in the eyes who is the only man to beat him as a professional, right? So at the end of the day, you have to look a man in his eyes that defeated you, point blank and period. You gotta come back to reality, right? It's time to come out the clouds, come back, step down in reality. You lost, snap out of it, and get back at it. Like I stated before, I feel like as of late, Anthony Joshua has started, making up excuses, as to why he lost to Andrew Ruiz. At one point, he said that he lost because he wasn't focused, right? Thus, this is the reason why Eddie Hearn is addressing his focus, right? You lost because you wasn't focused. But in the same token, you're making all these changes to your training camp. You're making all these changes to your team. You're making all these physical changes to your own physical appearance. But yet you feel like Andrew Ruiz, 9 out of 10 times you would defeat Andrew Ruiz because you're the superior fighter. This is what you stated. You stated that, Andrew Ruiz got lucky. The guard sent him right hand, a left hook from the guards, and he hit you with that left hook. You got lucky. He got lucky, and you didn't recover. He dropped you 4 times and ultimately stopped you. That's not getting luck. That's not getting lucky, right? That's calculated punches. And then he goes on to say that, he heard the crowd booing, and it was his first time in the States, in New York, fighting under in the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. And because the crowd was booing, he went, for the finish, but Andrew Ruiz wasn't ready to go, which is a total opposite, is totally asinine, because the crowd was cheering when he dropped Andrew Ruiz. The crowd was going nuts thinking he was going to knock Andrew Ruiz out. They were not booing. He went in to knock Andrew Ruiz out, and Andrew Ruiz got up, was not as hurt as he thought he was, right? Andrew Ruiz then went on to catch him with the left hook, right? Dropping him, hurting him, buzzing him, dropping him, right? And then ultimately finishing him from there on out. So he said that he wanted to perform for the crowd because, you know, the crowd started booing and getting aggy and agitated because it was a boring fight. That's the most furthest thing from the truth. That couldn't have been the more further from the truth. That's not what happened at all. Actually, the crowd was cheering. They never started booing in that fight ever. He said he was sitting in his corner and heard them booing. When? He said he was sitting in the corner and heard the crowd booing, and he went in to finish Andy Ruiz, and that's when he got caught because he got careless. That's not what happened at all. That never happened. So this is a part of the delusion that Anthony Joshua is going through. He then blamed it on the referee. He said, I didn't have my gum shield in, and normally when you're dealing with boxers in the UK, when you don't have your gum shield in, they wait until you put your gum shield in, meaning his mouthpiece. That's what they call it in the UK, his gum shield. They wait until you place your gum shield back in before they wave the fight off. They give you an opportunity. The referee never gave me an opportunity. But then in the same token, he's saying that he don't remember anything from the first moment that he got stunned with the left hook. So you see, these are all excuses that he's making because he can't really truly identify the reason he came up short. He's not identifying his shortcomings. He's in the clouds, as Eddie Hearn stated. And if he don't wake up, he will lose a rematch. The one thing he has going for him is Andy Ruiz Jr. seems not to be as focused as he should be going into the rematch as well. He seems to be partying, traveling, and focused on everything but the rematch. And that could cost Andy Ruiz because Anthony Joshua definitely did hurt Andy Ruiz and dropped Andy Ruiz. Now, he didn't hurt him to the fact, he stunned him. I don't want to say he hurt him, he stunned him, right? But he stunned him and he could have finished him. He didn't. Andy Ruiz was better than what he thought. So all the excuses Anthony Joshua is coming up with, you know, is because he doesn't identify what truly took place. Blaming it on the gods giving him a left hand, you know, assistance, and that's why he got caught. Blaming it on the fact that he wasn't focused. He was focused on Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, right? Blaming it on the crowd. Blaming it on everybody but himself. Making changes to his physical appearance, losing weight, right? Saying that if he was focused, 1,000% focused, 9 out of 10 times he beats Andy Ruiz. If you just look at their physical appearance, you would favor him to beat Andy Ruiz. That doesn't win boxing matches. Six-packs don't win boxing matches. Muscles don't win boxing matches. Skills do, right? And at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua, your skills were not superior to Andy Ruiz Jr. Actually, his skills were superior to yours. He had the quicker hands. He was quicker on the counter. He was just better. And if you're not careful and blaming everything but yourself and not identifying why you came up short, your shortcomings, you are going to come up short once again. Now, like I stated, the only thing I think he has going in his favor is the fact that Andy Ruiz doesn't seem to be focused. But styles make facts, and I believe that Andy Ruiz Jr.'s style is all wrong for for Anthony Joshua. But Eddie Hearn is tired of this disillusion. He's tired of Anthony Joshua beating himself up and being down on himself and focusing on everything and pointing the blame on everything but being focused on the rematch when you got the opportunity to right the wrong is what Eddie Hearn is saying. And I have to agree with him. But that's all I got for y'all, man. If Anthony Joshua is not focused, he will lose this rematch. If Anthony Joshua doesn't understand why he lost, he will lose this rematch. That's the reason why Lennox Lewis, George Foreman, David Haye, Mike Tyson, so many of the past greats, the greats of the yesteryear, come out and they say that, you know, if Anthony Joshua doesn't understand what he needs to correct to be successful in the rematch, he will come up short. And Anthony Joshua is coming out of himself, coming out of character, and you guys know what I say about character. There's no such thing as coming out of character. You're being in character on your everyday living. And when you be yourself, people say you're coming out of character because they much rather you be in character so they could get along with you, right? It's just like watching a movie. You watching a movie with Denzel Washington, he's in character. I don't know Denzel Washington outside of being in a movie, but if I knew him out of a movie and he's somebody I don't like, I'd much rather him be the person that he is in the movie, so I'd much rather him be in character. So now they're saying that Anthony Joshua is out of character. No, Anthony Joshua is in character right now. He's being who he truly is. And because we never truly heard him speak too much, then we feel like he's out of character. But he's not out of character. In fact, he's in character. And now you're seeing the true Anthony Joshua. And the true Anthony Joshua, right, is lashing out because he's not understanding what took place, where his shortcomings came. And he don't like it. He don't like the place he's in. And so thus he lashed out at Lennox Lewis because he's fed up with Lennox Lewis giving him constructive criticism. So he's identifying the constructive criticism that Lennox Lewis is giving him as pure criticism, coming off as hatred. And that's not what it is. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. Eddie Hearn blasts Anthony Joshua, tells Anthony Joshua to wake up, stop being and living in the clouds, stop being in this illusion, stop blaming yourself, stop being down on yourself, focus, get back into who you are, or you will lose everything in the rematch with Andrew Ruiz Jr. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. I'm gone, man. Peace.